No problem.
Um, I just had this insight about Be Do Have, and then your name came to me because you've got it on, well, that photo of it having on your boot, mate. And I know so many people. I know you've benefited from it, using it, understanding it, and I know a lot of people would benefit from hearing it, mate. And I suppose, want to give you a voice to share it. I want people to hear a bit about you and your story, I suppose, because it's inspired me, and I know we've had some good conversations, and see where it takes us, really, mate.
Yeah, I love our chats. I love our chats. We don't usually take them publicly, so bear in mind that I'm going to take a lot of banter off the lads for sharing my insights publicly, but I'm willing to do it for you and for the good advice that you spread on your platform. So if I can help, then great. Be do have, yeah. I suppose have to be is the idea that you that most people kind of live by accidentally, especially athletes. When I have this thing, then I'll do that thing, and then I'll be that guy. So when I score 10 goals, then I'll have more confidence, and then maybe I'll shoot more from outside the box, and I'll be that guy. And that's kind of with everything in life. And the idea of be do have is to just decide the person you want to be first, and just be him, be that guy, act how that guy would act, and treat people how you want to be treated, and do the things that that guy would do, and then don't worry so much about the expectations of the future and what you might have, and not looking too far ahead. That will come um within the process of being and doing, and then having. So I suppose it's a kind of a process driven mindset. And I think I came about it when I was going through a bit of a confidence issue, and coaches or teammates would say, "Oh, why didn't you shoot from there? Or why didn't you just, we've seen you do that in training. Why didn't you just do that?" And often my response would be, "Oh, when I get my confidence going, then I'll kind of be that guy." Or when but it's too result based orientated, and now I try to be it sinks in all the time, but I try to be more just play and act like the person I want to be in 10 years' time now. And I'll gravitate towards that guy as much as possible. So um yeah, this last season I've tried to take more risks on the pitch. I've tried to act like the person that I would aspire to be to in 10 years' time. And rather than waiting to be that guy, I'll act like it now, and I'll learn as I go. So that's the concept really. I hope that's kind of clear. I think the idea is to be more process driven. Um, I did a talk with some young players a few years ago at Burnley, and I tried to give them some really cheap advice about why don't you just do everything Ronaldo does? But the trouble is, it's not comparable. That you're always comparing yourself to people in your vicinity. So I mean, everybody knows if you go and you live Ronaldo's lifestyle, do his diet, and you act like him. You go to bed at 8 o'clock. That you're going to reap the benefits. But unfortunately, it's really hard for people to compete against anyone other than themselves. It's the most realistic person you can compete with is yourself, and being the best version of yourself. So, on reflection, that wasn't very good advice that I gave to those young kids. And if I could go back, I would probably tell them um, to ignore absolutely everybody else and what everybody else around the world is doing, and to focus on yourself. That's one thing I would have changed, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, well, it's you don't know what they've necessarily took from it, but they're going to
Mm,
take something from that. It's like the idea of BD you have, how you see it might be different from how I see it, but there's a key theme there about the process creating who you're being, and I think that's the most important part, because, mate, even if someone created themselves as if Ronaldo, it would still open up something for them, and I
yeah,
love that idea of like uh, creating more of what you want. And if that's Ronaldo, then they're gonna improve, or they're gonna have an insight from it.
yeah. I think especially for footballers, and I have really good conversations with my teammates all the time about the idea of winning and losing, and and I've always been so much I have to win, I have to win, I have to win, that it really invites the idea of losing is also, you're now opening the door to being a bit of a loser.
Mm,
And I've really had to understand, and some older players have helped me. Jack Colback in particular has helped me understand that the reality is you can win, lose, or draw. But if you had 11 players on a football pitch that were solely focused on being the best version of themselves and delivering the best version of their actions on the day, then the percentage and the likelihood of us winning is increasing. But if your sole focus is on the idea and the concept of the end result, then you lose focus on the details that get you there. So I tried to say to the players or to myself, leave winning and losing to the managers and to the fans, and
mm.
focus on being and doing and our actions, and being experts at our and masters of our craft now. Um, and that will take us somewhere. So I think just my mindset has shifted a little bit towards like acting who I want to be like in 10 years time. A happy guy, um, a fun guy, a good guy, a hardworking guy, focusing on my details, and then I'm sure that the person I dreamed about becoming when I was a kid, I'll gravitate more towards that, but without the expectation of it. I have loads of hopes and dreams, but I don't want to be a prisoner to those hopes and dreams. I just want to focus on now.
Yeah, man, I love that. Like being an expert, like focusing, being a master of your craft, and use that hand kind of gesticulation here. And it's like, yeah, once we get clean and tidy in here, I always speak about like the speed project, like how quickly can we get into a state that's, our highest form of contribution, our higher self. You went like that, and it's like we focus here to then go from here to the action. And that's the BD have, right? That's like, okay, creating a being, becoming a master at creating yourself, no matter that's playing for Ireland, when you're in academy, wherever that is, contextually, but focusing here just give you that little space. Like that, I love the analogy of the Monsters Incorporated doors that come, like you open up a possibility to go into, and um, it's separating what you're saying there, separating, cool, there's the results, there's always going to be a result, right? But then come back to here and what you're about. I heard this the other week. It's like whenever there's creation, there's also waste. So like whenever you choose to be that person, you're choosing not to be that kind of mediocre version of you, or even a version of you that would have a habit that you don't really want, So you're constantly turning into creation. You're constantly turning here. So therefore, like there's always bits that you leave behind, and wherever that creation is, whether it's Ronaldo or whether it's being like a Rolls Royce, there's always here. So it's like you turn left, you're not going right, you know. I love that related to your results and being
Yeah,
here, being a master here.
yeah, it's really difficult. It's really difficult for athletes because there's so much pressure on results. The pressure on
Yeah.
results. I mean, I know rugby is your first sport, and it's the same in rugby as it is in soccer, but in my league, in the championship, there's so much pressure to sustain championship status, and then also to push for Premier League status. There's so much pressure on Premier League players and clubs. There's players coming in and out all the time, managers chopping and changing all the time, but the fans' expectations remain the same. So the pressure is always there, and the need for results is always there. But if I look at the most elite environments around the world, like we're talking like the All Blacks, or we're talking like Man City's prime side, or Pep Guardiola's Barcelona side. These are really, really elite, is they had such clear identities and patterns of how they played, that they looked like
Mm.
they were so far away from the result. They could be 5-0 up or 5-0 down, and they're playing the same way with the same idea. They're so focused on their process, um, that it just breeds success over longevity, and not like Tottenham winning the cup last night. That's brilliant. they've gone on and won a cup competition. But I mean that longevity, that long success, that sustainable winning mentality. And I think it just comes from being so obsessed. Like if I watch any of the All Black documentaries, they talk about the pressure to win, but they don't talk about winning. They talk about the detail that goes in to
Mm.
to putting on a good performance and the pressure that's on each individual to sustain being an All Black, and the pressure that goes onto them to sustain being a winner. They get so obsessed by the process and the details that it's I've tried to shift my mindset away from winning and losing, which makes a lot of people uncomfortable because it's like, oh, he doesn't want to win. Oh, I want to win more than anyone. But I just understand that to get to that point, I need to focus more on being better at my job and being a better version of me than this idea.
That that's gold, mate. Because to the external looking in, they're like, oh yeah, Jimmy. If Jimmy says that, he's not that fussed. But it's like the opposite. It's like, man,
Yeah,
I care so much that like I can let go of those things to open up myself here, like for the next play, for the next first action after half time. Like I just think that's so much gold, and I suppose a lot of people, because of culture in sport, especially in Britain, um, or even in the Northern Hemisphere, like a lot of people don't necessarily get that. We know we've got a very clear direction, but how to get there to really open ourselves up for expression, that's really powerful, man.
good, good. That's the mindset I tried to stick to. Um, and take less pressure off myself when it comes to the result, because it's funny if you see people train or play when the results don't matter, they express themselves so much more freely and they show the best version of
Yeah,
themselves all the time. But the second there's something on it, it changes everything. Everybody stiffens up, the games get so intense, and it's a breath of fresh air when you see those players that they play like, like the expression dance like no one's watching, or they clearly don't care who's in the stand or what the score is, and they're just being the best version of themselves, and that's taking you closer to winning anyway. So it's a shame all athletes can't play like that, but unfortunately there's so much pressure that it's difficult to get there.
yeah. Where did you first hear about Be Do Have, mate? And I suppose like what was in it for you when you first heard it that inspired you to like, use it and like go and explore that way of thinking, that way of creating stuff?
I think the first time I experienced like a lack of confidence was when I was at Sunderland. Um, I just don't know why I didn't. I came off the back of being really confident at the club I was at before, and I don't know. I know that's a big club with a lot of pressure, but I just didn't feel myself. I had like an ankle injury, and I didn't feel like I could move properly after, and all these things just snowballed on top of me, and then confidence was like gone. And it's the first time I really experienced having no confidence. I'd always been such an arrogant kid, whatever, to get to the stage where I was questioning like everything. Is it left foot and right foot and left foot? Or like, what will I wear today? Like just questioning everything. So I just went on this kind of like speaking to psychologists and trying to discover like what is confidence and where do I find it again. And yeah, like I had to try loads of different things, like completely disregarding emotion. Like some managers you have, they're so organized and detailed where they just disregard the emotion of the player and how they feel because it doesn't matter. You just follow the system. And then some managers are the system and the organization doesn't matter so much because I'm just going to make my players feel amazing. So you have like
Mm.
one or two things, and then I had so many managers that made me feel so good, and then I probably put too much expectation on managers to build me up and give me confidence again. So I realized that it has to come from within. So I went on that kind of journey to find how can I be confident all the time, and that's when I started working with a psychologist in particular, that helped me relax my mind, be super still. I suppose you could say care a little bit less, but that's not the right way of putting it because obviously we care so much more, but we kind of just relax and think about the good stuff more than the bad stuff, and reflect and be really proud of yourself for how far you've come and things like that. And that slowly started working and my mind started calming down, and then upon that journey I just came across that B2 have concept in which I swore I'd stick to and live by. And when I feel myself going off track, I just kind of remind myself that I'm not being the guy I want to be. So I'll go back to that, you know, even if I'm feeling hot headed or if I'm feeling anxious or I'm feeling, you know, I'll just kind of fake it till I make it. I'll go back to wanting to be that person, and then I kind of calm down again.
Mm. Yeah, awesome,
So
man.
yeah,
And and along the way from you discovering it and using it, put it into practice, you'll have other insights which will have opened up more expression, more of what you want. How has it evolved from when you first saw it, if it has, like with your intention of using it?
I suppose it's made me just like, you know, super relaxed, much more mature. I never used to be able to laugh on a football pitch. It would all be super serious. And now I find myself just enjoying it more than ever, understanding that you know, feeling nervous for a game doesn't mean anything. Not feeling nervous for a game doesn't mean anything. You know, a bad first 10 minutes doesn't mean I'm a bad player. You know, an unbelievable game doesn't mean I'm an incredible player. It's just kind of completely settled my mindset to the stage where I can actually really enjoy my football, and I can misplace a pass or smash a ball into a stand without judging myself or really caring about feeling judged by other people. It just means I can laugh at myself a lot more, take it a lot less seriously, and and enjoy actually playing the game rather than fuck I better win and fuck I better play well today.
Mm.
You know, now I feel like I know I'm a good player. I know I can play well, um, and I'm completely open to whatever happens today because it's not going to change anything to me. I'm going to continue being who I am.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, man. And something just come up for me there. It's like if you had the opportunity to speak to those young lads at Burnley, what, how would it be different now?
Yeah, I suppose I would put a little bit less pressure on them. It's difficult with young players because you want them to know how difficult it is and how hard they have to work, but you don't want to
Yeah.
scare them away from the fact that please
Mm.
just enjoy it as well. Like, and because some players make themselves so nervous that and get so much pressure from their parents and their coaches that they can't do it. You know, so I'd actually want to take that pressure away from them. They get told so much. It's so difficult. Top, you have to work so hard, and Ronaldo goes to bed at 8 o'clock. Whereas, actually, I think if I was to go back, I would tell them, you know, I'd ask them how many times they could smile today, and I would find ways for them to enjoy it because you know you can work incredibly hard, but there's absolutely no reason to not enjoy the journey of being an athlete and being a footballer. And if I could go back, I'd probably take pressure off people rather than put it on.
Yeah. Um, you were in Manchester United's academy, right?
Yeah.
Would that advice you just said there to the Burnley lads, would that be the same as the version of you who was in the academy?
If I could have given myself that advice, if I could have just relaxed for a minute and just enjoyed
Yeah.
it and taken an extra touch and had the confidence to take someone on or shoot from distance or laugh at training, like then
Mm.
yeah, all this South American players, you always say their their primary focus is to enjoy their football and perform first. And even though they're so eager to win, they they won't sacrifice uh, showing off their skills and showing off the personality for that. You know,
Mm.
it's more important that they show how good they are than it is to win. You know, so um, I loved that. I loved when South American players come over and it was like it would take them 2 seconds to get 15 step overs in and have a smile and a shot from distance. It's like it's so refreshing, and I think the same when you see rugby players really playing at their best.
Yeah.
They're willing to take an extra step towards contact before releasing the ball, even though it's a little bit more risky. They seem to just totally understand the distance between players and they just play with that extra confidence. And I wish if I was to go back, I would definitely have taken the pressure off myself. I would have just enjoyed the journey more. Also, that intensity and that fear is something that's driven me to where I am today. So I'm glad I have that. But
Mm.
I think I would just take the pressure off myself a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. we connected probably 6 months ago, maybe longer, over a Simon Zebo clip, mate. What you you're from Ireland and recently represent your country. Um, what do you see in rugby players, mate? Or the sport of rugby? You obviously follow it a little bit. You watch it. Um, you obviously we've had some great conversations around what I've experienced and what you experienced, and I resonate a lot of you, mate, with having so much pressure on like need to perform and like don't fuck up. Yeah, man. Like, what do you see in rugby that you like, or has there been anything in rugby that you've taken from our conversations and following that?
Yeah, I spoke about this with my friend recently. I don't know what it is about rugby players and football players are so different.
Mm,
Ronan O'Gara talks an awful lot about care. To a footballer, that's like, yeah, obviously, like you need to care a lot. But rugby players seem to care so much more about the details than soccer players. Like, if you were to come and watch a football training session, guys would be coming out maybe 30 seconds late, their laces undone, talking to warm up, and it's this kind of monotonous routine of football that I
mm.
think pays a toll on players. And maybe it's because when I watch rugby, I watch them maybe play for their country, or I don't know what it is, but they care so much more about the details. It's unbelievable. They really care to to turn the ball over with that extra care, or to find his backhand with that extra inch just perfectly into his palm backhand. Whereas you watch us training with back for a while, I could deal with that. Or it's so much more flamboyant. Whereas you watch a rugby session, it's so much more elite. So I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why rugby players care more about the details than football players do. Um, they definitely try so much harder. I know you'll argue with me. Is the sport simpler? Is it all in the obvious details? Is rugby all in the obvious details? And is it like, does it transform less than soccer? Soccer, the formation change and the rules change and everything changes. Is rugby the same game but just at a higher level, at a higher level? Or am I wrong?
Yeah,
Tell me if I'm
it's
wrong.
it's really interesting. I think rugby, in terms of like, uh, it's a contact sport, so you're not that you're more alert, but like you're much more aware of like using your whole body.
Okay, if
You're
you know you're
you're
going to get hurt, you're going to care about the details more.
yeah. There's an element to that for sure, and I think it's like I'm unsure. You feel like you're going into battle in a way, and rugby players like they're putting their body on the line, and that is like through the contacts, through impacts. So I think there's a bit of that. There's a certain requirement for technical skill, which would probably mean that
Absolutely.
the intensity is probably, you're in even yeah, you say about like body language, like being like real slick with passes and stuff in football, but like you obviously, even now you're in ready, almost like ready position more often. Like, mate, you're off the deck, so many times in a minute, hitting people as
But
hard
what
as
is it?
possible.
What is it about their mentality and their approach to training that makes rugby players seem like they care so much more than football players? Or is that just not a fair comparison? Maybe I'm not doing flight players justice.
I think it's care, but it manifests in body language differently. I think footballers like, whilst body language might look relaxed and like very chilled, like, mate, even the chillest guy, if they're a striker, they're absolutely pegging it after the ball.
Yeah,
Like, and those efforts probably occur less often in a 90-minute game compared to rugby in 80 minutes where you're doing shuttles, you're here back, hit a ruck. It's more, yes, there's breaks in play, but it's like intensity is probably here. Football is probably more gentle, and then half time rugby is like up, down, up, down, up, down. Um, and then there's also like this kind of bravado, um masculinity, or not masculinity, but um want to try and dominate people physically, you know I'd be keen to hear your insights as a defender, but like rugby, you with the ball, mate, you have to both like you protect the ball, and if you're getting hit back through contact, that stores the attack, and then it has, domino effect on how it affects the team. So you're using your body differently in rugby, and you're showing up, I suppose, in a different way, which is more, I suppose, will come across as more aggressive and maybe look more intense. But I think the efforts that footballers do make, how many Ks you're running a game is far more than a rugby player would.
Okay, so it's just completely different. It's very hard to compare.
Yeah.
It's completely different athletes.
Like physicality for you, mate, how important is that? Is that something you think about in your position?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Like, um, because I've been playing right back and I'm really really big. I just think, yeah, and wingers are all small and quick. I just think get body contact on them as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Because there's no point in me trying to beat them at their game. I just try to make it as physical and as horrible as I possibly can. I just try and kick people as much as I can. So that works for me. That
Yeah.
works for me. I think a lot of the injuries in football, it's never really impacted another player. It's always impacted the ground.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's. I think I don't know what the average kilometer distance run for a rugby player is. What are we talking?
In
Maybe
a
for a winger, or what?
game, I mean, maybe 5K. Remember some weeks at
Where
Jersey were like a training week would be like 7K, and a match would be, yeah, much less than that.
there's just short distance powerful athletes.
Yeah, yeah, we don't have to run, lot for long periods of time, mate. But we've got to
No.
be powerful, strong. Yes, go for 80 minutes, but yeah, shorter efforts. Um, yeah, mate. My next thing that I'd love to ask you is that um you've had some achievements this last season, and well, actually, you want to tell us where you're at the moment, because that you're trying to convince me that that background is actually real.
Yeah, I'm no, I'm just on holiday. I'm relaxing. I told you before. I'm not sure if it was recording, but this is Kinted Lago. This is the footballers' off-season hub. This is where I think 90% of footballers will come at some stage in their off-season. Yeah, there we go.
I'm actually here. Like, I'm
No, no,
actually on the
yeah,
beach.
yeah, you're actually on the beach. Nice. No, I like that. Yeah, they all come here. They all come to Kintylago to do some work in the off season. So I've just been here for a week doing some rehab, chilling, and yeah, not a cloud in the sky, all good. And then I go back home for a little while tomorrow to see my family. So yeah, long tough season. Um, 10 months of graft, so the body needs rest,
Yeah.
as you know.
Um, Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Body needs it. I'm interested to hear, mate. Yes, BD have, but the context you've played in an international team, and yeah, mate, it's fair to say the season's gone pretty well for you. Um, Going into different environments with and who you're being in those environments. Um, what kind of intention are you creating when you go into an international team? How is that experiencing that? What were your insights from it?
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant to hang around with players from different clubs and different environments. I think it's weird for me because I always dreamt about playing for Ireland. I visualized playing for Ireland my whole life since I was 5 years old, and I thought I'd do it when I was a lot younger. I'm 27 now, and I'm an old 27.
What does that
So
mean? An old
I just
27.
it
Tough
means
playing
I'm
around, is it?
yeah. um, so going into the environment is different now because a lot of players are younger than me, and so as much as I want to learn from everybody, a lot of the guys are still learning and they're still young. So um, just enjoy it. To be honest, I visualize playing for Ireland so much, and for it to actually come true is it's proof to me that to keep working and to keep visualizing and keep thinking about good things and keep striving for things, because even at 27 to make your debut shows that you can still sign for Real Madrid maybe at 32. Who knows? Just keep thinking about it. So yeah, it kept me motivated, because I think the longer it had gone on without making a debut, it would have paid a toll on me, and it would have hurt. I think if I had to come to at the end of my career and I didn't get in there. So now I'm it's giving me more confidence. I feel I can get in there again. Um, and yeah, it's helped me play with a little bit more confidence and a little bit more swagger, and which helps. So, like as I say, Be Do Have would suggest that you shouldn't need that validation, but obviously now and again it helps to actually hit a marker that you set out for, because it's proof to yourself that your hard work is paying off. Even if it's way, 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 way down the line. That's why I say that the have, just nearly forget about the have. Write it down and then just forget about it, because it's so far away. Just concentrating on the being and the doing, and then and you'll get there eventually. Just way, way down the line.
Mm. Yeah, it's funny, right? Like having that external validation often gets stigmatized, especially in the circles we're in and what we speak about. But it's like it feels bloody good to get
Yeah.
the have the awareness from other people. Like it's not a bad thing.
No, sport is about entertaining others, and unfortunately, it is about getting the validation of others. And this is the paradox, that it's about getting the validation of others, and it's about getting the result for others. And so it's so hard to focus on not comparing yourself to others and
Mm,
not caring so much about the result, and just being able to focus on being a master of your own self and your own craft. That's, for me, that is the difficulty of being an athlete. So master that. Everyone should try and master that.
mm. Yeah, yeah, man. Um, and then yeah, I'm curious, in and around your international experience just gone. Um, there'd have been a lot of emotions around that. How did that experience play out for you, with your family, with you achieving something that you visualized for a long period of time? Yeah, talk
Yeah,
to me about that.
I think my mum was super proud, because parents of athletes dedicate a lot of their time to, and a lot of their emotional support to keep feeding you with positivity that might even feel false to them, but they're still trying to
Mm,
keep you motivated, and trying to emotionally support you in the really, really difficult times. So I think it was even validation for her that all her good work and good advice and love and support really took me somewhere. She never once said, maybe call it a day, or it's okay to come home, or
yeah.
you know, um, she always told me that you're doing brilliant. Keep pushing. I know it's going to cost something will happen if you keep going, and I know no one sees your hard work, but I do. And just her being like that with me is probably taking me so much further than anything else. So I'm really, really grateful for her.
Mm. And then that translated for how you felt going into camp, um, and uh, I'm assuming with the intention to thrive in that environment. Like, did it empower you? Did it hinder it? Your creation of who you're being at all? Like, how was that for you?
Just no, just back to business. Just every time go to play football, the same me. Just attack every ball with 100% intensity.
Yeah,
Have as much calmness in possession. Just totally felt like that is the environment I belonged in. Was completely present. Had as much fun as I could. It's a primary focus of mine, is to have as much fun as I can. And the lads are absolutely great, and the manager and the staff are brilliant with me. So just a lot of fun, to be honest. And this last couple of seasons has been really, really fun under my new, more secure mindset of it's okay to have fun.
yeah, yeah. Rock solid, mate. What an amazing acknowledgement of like how you
Yeah.
creating your mindset to be able to go into that and still have fun, man. That's inspirational.
Did you have fun when you were playing?
Not always.
No,
Yeah,
it's tough.
occasionally. Yeah, yeah. like you said earlier, like
Take
I had my
occasionally.
most, yeah, like I had my most fun when there wasn't much to play for, and I was able to let go. I was able to
Yeah.
um not prove to people how good I was, but to play to just because I loved unlocking defenses. I loved getting people around me to on board with the shared goal in attack and to get the ball back in defense. Um, so I reflect on that a lot, mate. And I suppose that's why I've absolutely loved both exploring how I can help others to notice when they are in a kind of this kind of tethered state, like like you said, when we're obsessed with something, we just kind of limit ourselves, and expression seems so far away, and like really unleashing how good you are. Um, and I'm embodying that now, mate, in the business, in my coaching, and in who I'm being now, because I don't need a sport to go and do that, which has been so liberating for me in the work I've done, transitioning from professional sport into coaching and then creating the business. So yeah, playfulness, and when I look and when I study more and have more insights around flow and what that means, and how people can get into it. I'm uncovering that more and more for myself, and other people.
Yeah, you're doing a great job, Sam. I always enjoy our chats.
Um, Mate, you've got interests in a few bits outside of football, um, which is something that athletes, I think, a lot of people want to do it, but often get quite lost, whether that's a confidence thing, whether it's a courageousness thing. What do you got going outside of football, mate? And why are you doing those bits?
It's definitely frowned upon because fans, they come to watch you give your 100%, and they definitely don't like the idea of your energy going elsewhere other than bringing 3 points to their team. Um, but footballers having interest off the pitch doesn't hinder that whatsoever. In fact, I believe it to be more healthy for the player
Mm,
to have somewhere to put their mental energy and to remove it for football for a little while, because it's a dark place where you're too obsessed with the same thing too much, and you're not able to let go. So yeah, I one of my biggest interests is just having coffee with my mates, and just yeah, I think that's when I'm at one of my happiest places, when after training or before training. But I had a um really good friend group at QPR this year, where Lucas Anderson would be waiting outside the door with a flat white ready, with a couple of the other guys, and we drive into training together every day, and we'd leave and discuss training every day together in a cafe, and it was so good and so healthy that and that's the lifestyle of most football players, I think. Um, but me and Lucas were really interested in starting our own coffee and our own coffee brand, which I'm sure we're going to release to people soon. Um, yeah, that's something that we're just really interested in. So we've got our own coffee cups and our own coffee thing. It's not something that I'm desperate to get out there right now, but it's
sure.
a bit of fun. It's a bit of fun, and it's something else to think of without any pressure. I'm not trying to make money, or not trying to. I know a lot of players are doing clothing brands and all that stuff, and this doesn't take up too much time or energy. It's just something fun that I like. What
Yeah.
about you? Have you got anything else going on?
Apart from the business, mate, no, just enjoying myself.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Um,
that's it.
yeah, yeah. And I'm interested. Well, when you stop swanning around in Portugal, mate, and get yourself back
Yeah.
to Chiswick, we're gonna create some more conversations over some nice fresh brews. Um,
Yes.
what is it about coffee, mate? Is it the coffee, or is it the connection that you like the most?
No, it's just because it's a culture that people have taken to now, where I think it's the only place where people tend now to put their phones down for 2 minutes and be a little bit present around a
Yeah.
coffee table, because in our day and age, that's not really a thing anymore. People
Mm.
used to sit and talk to each other a lot more and be present a lot more. But I think now people, even if they find 30 minutes of their day just to sit with their mate and have a coffee with their phones down and actually have some face to face, genuine care about each other, that it's the only time it really happens. Like we've
Yeah.
got screens upstairs in our lives. You know, we go home and watch the TV. We completely disconnect from our personal relationships all the time. So, and obviously I don't live with my family or anything like that. I live alone. So the more energy I get to exert on the people around me, the better. That's why when I go into football, the lads just, I'm just a nightmare and I'm full of energy and I want to talk to everyone. I'm like a Labrador. Because I tell them, yeah, because you go home to your wives and that, I go home and I stare at the wall. So I'm trying to get all my energy out there. So it's the connection that I get with people and the lads when I get to just sit around and have a coffee. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome, mate. And you mentioned some of the South American influence. Have you tried yerba mate? Is that something
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you've
Yeah,
experienced?
it's cool. Yeah, it's cool. I don't really know what the difference is between the caffeine and that and the caffeine you eat, just regular caffeine. It's just
Yeah,
caffeine, isn't it?
me neither, but it kind of hits different, I think.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely cool. I think for my business, I might create my own yerba mate. I like an Irish version of, I don't know. It's the cups that are the coolest bit
Yeah.
with the metal straw.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's something that I learned when I was playing in France and I was living with two Argentinian mates who were the best English speakers, which I had some amazing times with them. And I learned how important the passing the mate around and having that time. Like, and now
Yeah,
we're here to sit, and it's probably longer than just having a coffee, but it's like it's almost like sacred for them. It's like a religion, right? And
I like that.
I learned so much about slowing down, mate. Like going to France, obviously England to France, you slow down, and then France being around Argentinians, South Americans, it was like a whole notch. Like, whoa,
Yeah, yeah.
when we're training, we're doing it. But when we're at home, and especially around mate,
Really.
you top it up. Yeah, man,
But
that was pretty special. Really, really enjoyed that.
they have it in the evenings as well.
All day, mate. I had even mate at like 4 p.m. and I was awake until like 2 a.m. It's
Yeah, but
like
do
rocket
they
fuel.
naturally go to sleep really late? They don't care.
Well, they just got like coffee, like you build your capacity, your tolerance
Yeah,
to it.
yeah, yeah,
And so,
exactly.
and
Yeah,
so when I've been passing it, like after lunch, I was like, no, 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 it's like a morning thing for me.
yeah, yeah. I like that culture. That's cool.
Um, you've just seen a post of mine, mate, which I know you're switched on with looking after your body and your mind. Um, talk to me about Whoop. Talk to me about how you use that. How does that make you feel regarding my post? Well, as you want.
Yeah, yeah. I think the old me probably related to your post because I got rid of
Yeah.
my root when I started seeing that if I had a bad night's sleep or my recovery was bad or whatever. I go, oh shit, I can't play well today because my roots says so.
Mm.
So that's the negative effects. But I think I'm just over that now. Like, no, obviously it doesn't. It's a soft guidance. I see my whip as a soft guidance.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's
don't
it.
care that much. Like I don't look at it every day. Sometimes the sleep thing is interesting. The heart rate thing is interesting. It's definitely interesting if you're to have alcohol to watch the effect it has in your body. So it's just an interest
Yeah,
more than anything. I don't really care. I can take it off whenever I want. So I guess in regard to your post, if you're not totally attached to it or you're not fearful of it, because if
yeah,
you are, then it's controlling you. But if if you don't really care that much, if you should know your body yourself anyway, more than your root band. But I think it's beneficial. I think athletes should use it if it doesn't destroy your mind. But if it does destroy your mind, then I think you have other things you need to work on.
yeah,
It's not the whip's fault. I think you need to get to a place where you don't really care too much what your whip or anything says.
yeah.
But I like it. I like it. It looks cool. It looks like I'm an athlete.
Nice,
It's like
mate.
you go around saying, "Listen, I'm an athlete. I care about my body."
Well, that was the intention from the post, mate. It's like
Yeah,
I think your mindset is rare though across
yeah,
football and
maybe.
rugby. Well, in rugby, mate, it's rare.
Why are they totally obsessed? Oh my god, my whip! Oh my god, my whip!
Well, the lads players who care about that and are really like switched on with everything, nutrition, recovery, sleep, everything like that. It's almost like as we're speaking about be do have, it's the have do be, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna have a whoop, and then I'm gonna be more aware of how my body's feeling.
I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, once I take these supplements, I'll have the energy, like BCAA, I'll have the energy to go and gym at 5 p.m. It's
No,
that,
gym at 5 p.m. and then get your supplements or whatever. Yeah, but no. Get your body in order before the loop. Get your mindset
yeah.
in order before. These are all just little 0.01 percenters.
This is it, mate. This is it. People don't have that because of marketing, because of fear of missing out, because people see people like you, mate, and think, oh, Jimmy's cool, so let's go and get on a whoop.
Yeah,
There's it's like I see it as like the pyramid, like foundational, the things that cost nothing, mate. How you're thinking, how you're sleeping, how you're showing up, how you're creating intentions, how
yeah,
you're doing your extras, like it's all things that you show up. You don't necessarily need external feedback. You know if you've had a good night's sleep or not. You don't need
yeah.
someone else to tell you, and you don't need someone at a whoop to tell you. And then it's like as you
No.
go up, mate, you build on that. And obviously for a lot of people, especially the mindset stuff, mental skills training, that's not an importance to people. It's not. It's like the last thing that people will invest time and money in, you know, because like there's no tangible thing there, there's no like score for how much confidence you've got,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
so that's I think that was the intention for the post to open up, saying like just to throw a little grenade up there, mate.
No, it is
Um,
a grenade because people are so
yeah,
obsessed with the loops. I mean, it'd be interesting. Do people who wake up and see they've got 100% recovery and 100% sleep score and all this stuff, do they then think they're going to play amazing today?
yes, this is
Because
it.
I've had that so many times and produced a stinker. So whatever. And I've also had 11% recovery and been man of the match. So
Yeah,
like, yeah, it's a general guidance and it's something to keep your eye on. If you're having 5% or
sure.
5 hours sleep every night, yeah, fine. But like you say, if you're going to bed at 2 a.m., you probably know that it's
Yeah,
not going to be great.
exactly, exactly. It was I played with lads, mate, who wouldn't wear it on the night before the game day because of that, because they would
Yeah.
avoid it. And I'm
I
like,
used to be that. I used to be like that. I used
yeah,
to be. I had
yeah,
to get rid of
it's
it. I
common.
had to get rid of it because I was like, no, it was getting in my head too much.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
I used to be like that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's I imagine it's super useful now, especially in off season, mate, where you've probably got more time, and having something like that as a guide can be really really useful.
Yeah, I think that's a grenade. I'll be interested to read the comments on that post later.
Yeah, well, invitation to chuck an insight on there, Jimmy, because I think
Yeah.
I'm not making it out as bad, but I'm just like, well, yeah, there's other stuff that your intention of using it, I think, is really important.
Mhm.
Um, what's next for you, mate? Looking to next season and beyond and the rest of the summer, what's coming up for you?
Just keep enjoying it. Keep looking after my body. Keep having fun. Keep trying to grow. Um, just keep being a good friend, good son, good brother. And just yeah, just enjoy it, and have more chats with you. And yeah, and life's great. You know, simple life. What about you? What's next?
I love your energy, mate. I love your smile, and I'm looking forward to a coffee in person very soon.
Yes, we'll get a coffee soon. I'll be back in London soon. We'll get a coffee.
Yeah. Um, for me, mate, yeah, moving in next week
Oh yes,
to the gaff
with a
with
dog.
Sam. So yeah, so looking forward to that. Um, yeah, man, I'm every day I'm inspired by the people that I work with, and growing the business is just an extension of me growing myself, and I'm absolutely loving it. I've got some trips away with Sally over the next couple of months. Got a nice trip down to Cornwall for our birthdays, and
Sally's a lucky girl. She's a lucky girl.
yeah, I'm more lucky, mate. I'm more lucky.
Yeah, nice, nice.
So well, I'm sure you meet her at some point.
Yeah, brilliant. No, brilliant. Thanks for that, Sam. Let's have a chat again soon.
Appreciate your time, Jimmy. Let me stop this.